Okay, so I'm just going to go through the questions that you had on translocation. So the first one says, give the name of the substance transported in translocation. And remember that one is sucrose, because that glucose that's made in photosynthesis, the plant converts to sucrose. Sucrose is the substance that you would buy at the shops, you know, sugar that you might put in cakes or on your cereal or something. Then it says, which cells are used to pump sucrose in phloem tissue? So phloem tissue, remember, is made up of similar cells working together. So we have sieve tube elements and we have companion cells. So which ones of those do the pumping? Well, we know it's the companion cells that pump the sucrose into the sieve tube elements for it then to be travelled up or down the plant. So are these cells living or dead? So they're talking about the companion cells, so they are living. But even if they were talking about the sieve tube elements, remember they are also living. They just don't have a nucleus. Okay, so question 4. So the diagram shows 3 duckweed plants in a beaker of distilled water. Explain how water, glucose and mineral salts are transported through a plant. So that's worth 6 marks. So realistically, we need to get 2 marks for water, 2 for glucose and 2 for mineral salts. There's lots of marks there that we could choose from. So I'm going to start with mineral salts first. So when you answer 6 mark questions in your exams, you can do little subheadings and you can use bullet points to make it nice and clear for the examiner what it is you are trying to get across. So first of all, I know that mineral salts are moved in from the soil to root hair cells via active transport, and then they move up the xylem vessels, dissolved in water. Okay, so I've got 3 possible marks there. I know if they go from the soil to the root hair cells, it's important that you say root hair cells, not just roots. They come in via active transport, so I could add there from a low to a high concentration, and then they move up the xylem vessels, dissolved in water. Okay, so now I'm going to do glucose. So glucose, the first thing I'm going to say is that it is converted to sucrose, and then, as I've just said, we know that it is pumped into sieve tube elements by companion cells, and then it passes up or down the sieve tube elements to where needed. Now that's important because we know that water in xylem vessels only goes up, whereas sucrose can go up or down depending on what needs to go. And so finally, water. Okay, remember when we did transpiration that it starts at the leaf. So we have evaporation of water from leaf cells, and then water vapour diffuses out of the stomata. So I'm putting that on different bullet points there because we get a mark for diffusion and we get a mark for knowing that it passes out through the stomata. And then we know that this draws water up the xylem vessels from the roots, and then more water enters root hair cells from the soil by osmosis. Okay, and there again for osmosis I could put from a high to a low water concentration.